this gold town representing a long history of gold production, mining, smelters, and many companies of different types which have developed from the mining sector. I hope that the EuroMine Expo 2014 will be a meeting point which brings people together. When people meet, they learn, they hopefully laugh, they share experience, they see new possibilities, and they also do business. EuroMine Expo is held in a place in the world where, in this time of the year, the sun never sets. So you all have great opportunities to work both day and night. I would once again say very welcome to Skellefteå and EuroMine Expo. The smorgasbord is served. Now it's up to you to take part of it. And now I will leave the floor to the governor of the county of Västerbotten, Mrs. Magdalena Andersson. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all to Skellefteå and Västerbotten. I've been invited to open the conference, and I will, I assure you. But as the governor of Västerbotten, let me first tell you a little bit about Skellefteå and the county of Västerbotten. For many of you, it might be the first time you're here, and therefore let me offer you some perspective on this place. When flying over Scandinavia, you may notice just how large it is. And this part, the county of Västerbotten itself, it's the second biggest county in Sweden, and alone bigger than the whole country of Denmark. But I have to admit, our inhabitants are slightly fewer. We are about 260,000 living here. With its size and location, it comes many contrasts. As Mr. Gustafsson told you, we have cold, dark, and snowy winters, the months. They are contrasted by light and mild summer nights. And this time of the year, it's never dark. And the bright nights are just beautiful. And I have heard that from 4 o'clock today, the sun will show up again. So hopefully tonight, you see the sun. Yes, our climate is ever shifting, but our longest season is the winter, which many say would characterize people from this part of Sweden. Some would even say it's in their blood. The north of Sweden is also the land and home for Sami people and for reindeers. They live all over the county, in the inland or in the mountain, depending on the time of the year. We have impressive mountains in the west, from which rivers flow to the sea in the east. And in between, there are many square kilometers of forest-clad landscape. People are concentrated in the towns and cities in the coastline. In the countryside, its municipalities are small, counting inhabitants, but big in size. We have one municipality that has about 3,000 inhabitants, but big as, yes, what can I say, a third of Denmark. From a visitor's perspective, it's actually no bad things, as these mean space, plenty of space, Forests, mountains, lakes and streams, cliffs, marshes and open spaces combine to create a dynamic and unique arena for different experiences. Nature lovers do love visiting our county. So dear guest, as you understand, you are now visiting a very special county, and it has been home to many successful people as well, in culture, in art, in businesses of various kinds, and of course in sport. Let me give you a few examples. EuroMine, one of our municipalities near the mountains, are, and of course should be, very proud. They have one champion, world champion, for every 1,000 inhabitants. No other city in our country can beat that. And I can assure you, they don't hesitate to tell others about it. I'm sure you know about Stig Larsson, the novelist who wrote The Girl with the Golden Tattoo. He was born here. Liza Miskovsky, the famous artist, is from our county, and so I can go on. And people from Västerbotten have contributed and still do in new inventions. Here in the municipality and city of Skellefteå, where we are today, it's a home for about 71,000 inhabitants. In this region, tradition and history goes hand in hand with technical development and innovative ideas. Skellefteå's strong tradition of creative entrepreneurship is based on the rich natural resources of this area, forests, ores and rivers. For generations, driven and creative entrepreneurs have developed their products and businesses that have resulted in a national and international brands. Skellefteå has long mining and smelting tradition combined with world-class institutions and a constantly growing industrial sector. You know, Skellefteå is known as the Gold City, and the world-renowned Skellefteåfält, in English the Skellefteå Tract, is one of the richest mineral areas in the world and has a rich seam of gold. Being here in Skellefteå Kraft Arena, I must mention two of the most known trademarks in the city. It is Skellefteå Kraft and Skellefteå AIK. Skellefteå Kraft is one of the largest energy companies in Sweden, and Skellefteå AIK won the Swedish Championship of Ice Hockey 2 years in a row, last time just a few months ago, and you can imagine the celebration in here or in the town. Skellefteå, of course, also has Boliden, which in this context I don't think needs to be described. In the north of Sweden we have a lot of deposits and mineral resources that attract the attention of the industry's leading players. We are also one of the cutting edge of research, energy efficiency, environmental awareness, and industrial expertise in production technology. Progress is facilitated by an extensive and modern infrastructure and a favorable business climate, which is illustrated by the many prestigious companies being based here. The Barents region, that is the northern parts of Norway, Sweden, Finland and Russia, is extremely rich in minerals and is still underexploited. The potential that still exists for new mineralizations and mines has led to increased investments in exploration, particularly here in the north of Sweden. International capital have found its way to this area and have made the mining industry a vital driving force for national, regional and local development. An event like EuroMine Expo keeps us on our feet and inspires us. It's an opportunity for you who are working in this field to meet and exchange experiences and thus increase your competence ever further. It introduces the newest technologies and increases ability. I'm confident that the organizers have planned for an interesting couple of days for you and that you will leave here feeling inspired. Finally, I would like to wish you rewarding days here in Skellefteå with many stimulating discussions and inspirational side activities. May I also suggest you take the time to walk around the city and experience the river and its closeness to nature. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all very warmly welcome.
Thank you, Magdalena. We used to... Tänk om det kunde flytta. Men min storlek är inte... Please, wait. That's the reason why I stood in the front, so you couldn't just jump off. We have, for this special event, we have some exclusive stones. And
I guess it's diamonds.
I think it's diamond. No, I don't know anything about minerals and so on, but now it's written in Swedish, and I tried to translate the text into English so one can be aware of what are you going to have. It's something called rutil, and I said stops you from being elder, helps unemployed to regain the feeling to be important, and opens new opportunities for those who are comfortable at their work. So now you know everything about that and the stone that will save you.
Is this a message?
No, that's up to you. Thank you very much, and be part of this event. Thank you.
Thank you.
I told that it was the fourth time that we had this EuroMine Expo, and every time we have had some government's address. And you know it's hard to get the right persons. And this is a year when we have elections, it's harder. But this time we got the right spot at the first time. Someone with international experience, someone who has long experience of international work, and then we find a man who have experience of United States, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Burma, and surely a lot of other places also. And we are very, very glad to have the Ambassador and Senior Advisor for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jonas Hafström, with us. Please take the floor.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Well, I'm the replacement for the minister, so here I am. Madam Governor Magdalena Andersson, ladies and gentlemen, Let me begin by just thanking the organizers of the EuroMine Expo 2014 for the opportunity to address you about the government's view regarding Swedish mining policy. And please accept warm regards from Minister for Foreign Trade, Eva Björling, a frequent visitor up here in this part of our country. But due to other commitments, she couldn't do it today. I see from the program that you have some busy days to look forward to, centered around 3 highly topical themes. And I wish I could stay on, but my son's graduation tomorrow is, with all due respect to you, more important, and I can tell you it will be notified if I'm not there. So as you all know, mining plays an important role in Swedish economy and has so done for a very, very long time. Historically, the extraction of ore and minerals has built Sweden's prosperity and enabled our journey from being a poor country on the outskirts of Europe to one of the world's most dynamic, egalitarian and business-friendly countries. A phenomenal journey, which is still going on. And the Swedish mining industry is part of that journey, or rather part of that engine. Today, we are the leading iron ore producer in the European Union, accounting for as much as 92% of the production. And iron and steel are, as we all know, crucial for the global development. Last year, we set a new Swedish record by producing 79 million tons of ore, of which half was iron ore. What's more, we are major producers of base metal such as lead, zinc, copper and gold. Overall, the mining industry involves around 100 enterprises, with thousands of small and medium-sized companies as subcontractors, and they create jobs. Roughly 10,000 direct jobs and 35,000 indirect jobs. Given this background, I hardly need to say that the mining industry is vital for employment, regional growth, and not least for Swedish prosperity. Thus, the mining industry's future and competitiveness is, to say the least, very important for all us in Sweden and a government priority. Today, we can say that the mining and mineral industry, Swedish mining, has developed into an international recognized brand. And this is thanks to you who represent the industry and who continue to nurture and develop this brand, which also contributes to a positive image of our country, Sweden. And rest assured that the government attaches great importance to the close collaboration between the industry, individual companies, government agencies, and not least universities that has played an important role in strengthening Swedish competitiveness internationally. Through this close cooperation between innovation and business know-how and capital supply, Sweden has produced world-leading companies where corporate social responsibility, or CSR, is high up on the agenda. Swedish companies have a very good reputation when it's come to CSR, including principles of human rights, labor laws, environment, anti-corruption, and internet freedom. The government's view is that accountability should be a strategic value that creates a competitive advantage for Swedish companies when they work on the international arena. Ladies and gentlemen, with the global population on the rise and more people wanting to enjoy the opportunities offered by a better standard of living, we see not only growing need for and interest in commodities and mining, but also the growing importance of environmental issues. This means that sustainability is becoming an even stronger competitive advantage. Iron ore pellets, which come from Malmfälten, is what we call climate smart. The steel produced up here is based on pellets that emit less CO2 than the steel produced from conventional technologies. We need therefore to boost even more research into the environmental impacts of mining by demonstrating sustainable, environmental and business-driven solutions at home. We can promote better regulations, transparency, and international also increase our trade abroad. However, to increase Swedish export, we need to renew our export. And here, the mining and mineral industries has an important role to play. With ambitious goals and the industry's challenge to meet Sweden's we needed a minerals strategy. The strategy launched last year aims to take a holistic approach to the industry, further challenges and opportunities. Research investments also have a crucial role to play. Sweden invests heavily in research, and after Israel, we are one of the world's biggest investors in research and development in the world, and as percentage of GDP, we are close to 3.5. But with the government like us to be even higher and reach the 4% GDP in the research and development. And as the slogan goes, today's research is tomorrow's prosperity. And it is true, of course, that the success of Swedish mining companies is closely linked to research and development. Today, Luleå University of Technology is Sweden's mining university, offering a range of research programs and partnerships with the industry. During the Swedish presidency of the Nordic Council of Ministers, the position was further strengthened when Luleå University of Technology was tasked with coordinating mining research in all the Nordic countries. The project is called EuroMine and involves an investment of almost 35 million Swedish kronor in sustainable and competitive Nordic mining. There is no doubt that there is a great export potential in your industry. There are many examples of companies and clusters offering system solutions, products and services that are technological, very advanced and leading the global market. Similarly, there are great opportunities for international partnerships and investments in Sweden, in the Swedish mining industry. These are very important for further development and Swedish growth. Meanwhile, we cannot ignore the fact that the global markets continue to change with accelerating speed. According to a Boston Consulting Group report published last autumn, competitiveness is likely to become even more exposed in the years ahead. In particular, we see that with increasingly rapid globalization, a number of new growth markets are becoming stronger and beginning to pave the way for a new trade order. This is not about a shift from the west to the east, but more about a trend towards a number of economic hubs around the world. For example, between 1990 and today, the share of world trade of the OECD countries has dropped by 25%. This is in favor of new emerging markets, which have gained even larger market shares, China, India, South Korea, to name a few, but also dynamic emerging economies in Latin America and in Africa. This is why the Minister for Foreign Trade, Eva Björling, decided last autumn to concentrate government export promotion on where it has the most impact and creates the most added value. The result, based on a macroeconomic analysis and an overall assessment in dialogue with the Swedish business community, have led to the decision, starting this year, that we will reset and focus the Ministry's trade promotion on 20 markets with particularly high export potential. Guiding factors have been 1, the economic size of the market, 2, the growth prospect, 3, the degree of economic freedom, and 4, maximum Swedish export potential. Among the markets we selected are the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India and China, the United States, South Korea, Japan, Germany, Turkey, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Nigeria and Angola, just to mention a few. But just as summer brings warm, sunshine and lighter days, exports are now looking better and brighter. The OECD Economic Outlook forecast just a few weeks ago a 3% increase in Sweden's total export this year and more than 5% next year. And the same with GDP figures, close to 3% this year and more than 3% next year. However, a positive trade outlook doesn't mean that we can rest on our laurels and wait for the result. Instead, we will roll up our sleeves and take another look at how we can improve conditions for our Swedish business here at home. Because, as you know, the export journey begins here at home in Sweden, with local condition as a breeding ground. And it's a journey requiring good conditions that enable and create appetite for entrepreneurship and international trade. Minister Björling has therefore been driving efforts to boost export opportunities around the country. This result is a special initiative focused on Sweden's 4 northernmost counties, Norrbotten, Västerbotten, Jämtland och Västra Norrland, called Resursrika Norrland in Swedish, to exploit the export potential of the region. As regards mining, we have seen requests for better tools for international marketing. For this reason, we are now developing a communication platform to help market your goods and services internationally. It's a joint industry-specific initiative that will make it easier for individual companies to reach out globally with the help of Brand Sweden. Ladies and gentlemen, turning to the outside world again, we can conclude that increasingly rapid changes in business competitiveness create the need for greater adaptability. And we can see that many Swedish enterprises seem to manage this well, given that almost all of Sweden's 50 largest multinational companies have been operating for more than 40 years on the global markets. Swedish companies have quite simply been able to adapt to changing conditions. This ability will become more and more important in a rapidly changing market. If you look at the history of the Swedish mining industry, which began, as you all know, in the Falun copper mine, the Sala silver mine, and iron ore mining in central Sweden more than 400 years ago, it is obvious that your industry has already proven its adaptability many times over. With a high rate of innovation and research-based development, the Swedish mining industry has been able to do the journey and respond to future challenges. The government will make sure that the mining industry is as well equipped as possible to meet the adaptation needs, not least to ensure that it can take on the role of ending both of Sweden's growth and sustainable mining globally. We will support a corporate-friendly policy with a strategy that provides skills and know-how for the future, and in combination with a foreign policy that protects globalization, we will keep the Swedish banner high. Thank you. Nu du.
Thank you very, very much. And you also get a stone from the
Thank you.
The Swedish rock, and we'll all say very much thank you to you and for your time here. And I think we all can send you, take with you to Minister Eva Björling and the whole government the need to work with the image of the industry. I think I talk for many of us that we say it's a modern, important and interesting part of the society where both women and men can find good jobs. And we all need to work to put up some issues to get that image. It's nice to be a miner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And now over to the keynote speaker. To the keynote speaker. And actually, I don't think he needs any presentation. But I don't know, for some years ago in Sweden we have a program on the radio called Summer. And different persons have their opportunity for some hours to speak about whatever they like and also play the music they like. And I know, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, this person had the opportunity to have this program Summer. It's one of the most listened in Sweden, and I think you can find it on the web and so on, so please listen to it. It's a lesson about what this part of Europe or this part of Sweden can give to the rest of Sweden or the rest of Europe or rest of the world. I'm very glad to present our keynote speaker, Mr. Lars-Erik Aro, CEO from LKB.
Thank you. Thank you, Lennart. Thank you for those kind words. I thought that in my presentation I will not focus 100% on the million tons and iron ore contents and whatever in our products. I will try to focus on what was said, I think, during the last speech regarding sustainability. I think the new word in the mining community is about sustainability, and I will tell you a bit about LKB, how the company look like today, our position on the market, but also mainly focusing on sustainability from a way that not focusing on economy, not too much on the environment, because there we are sort of focusing a lot, but trying to give you an explanation a little bit how we are working with the social contribution to the societies, building societies. So generally, I will give you a presentation regarding LKB in brief. We are, of course, growing the company as everybody else in this business, probably trying to shoot ourselves in the foot regarding oversupply in the market and deteriorating the price. But generally speaking about the mining community, I think the most important thing we have to, and we have been working with since long, is of course the attractiveness of the business, the attractiveness of the companies, the attractiveness of the societies where we are living, and I will give you our view on what we are doing. But starting up, iron ore is the steel raw material. 70% of the steel raw material is iron ore. Rest is steel scrap. This is and steel scrap is fantastic material to recover, almost 100% recovery. And we can't see a world without steel. We have 3 billion people that will come into the middle class within 2030, and they need steel for building the wealth, the infrastructures, the building we need, everything mostly in the society. LKB is a mining company since 124 years, but since 50 years we are focusing on a niche. We are working with pellets, and iron ore pellets is a niche product in the iron ore market. Consists of roughly 10% of the marketplace. We are the technical leader in that niche. We are the number 3 from a production position. And so our mission to our customers is to understand the reduction of oxygen from iron oxides. So this is actually the most important thing in our group, to understand how to do what we call performance in iron making. How are we doing, or how is the pellet behavior in the blast furnaces and in the direction process behaving, and how fast can we get away the oxygen from the iron oxide. This is the reason why LKAB since 50 years is focused on this. We strongly believe that this is the most efficient way to do climate smart iron source for steel. That's the reason why we still have the world's only experimental blast furnace, where we have 30 metallurgists that every day try to understand the customer's process in a better way, and to secure that the customer gives the most efficient reduction process. We don't have any fancy brand names in LKAB. We just have the mission to the customer. We call it performance in iron making. That's the sort of the target for all our efforts in R&D. R&D is the ground for LKAB. We've been spend around $50 million every year into R&D, trying to build knowledge, and especially building knowledge about the reduction process itself. We've been in the business for 124 years. Starting up, so we have a 125-year anniversary next year. So I won't go through every single sort of historical thing happening in LKAB, but I would say that LKAB, the ore bodies was discovered 300 years ago up in the northern parts of Sweden. By the invention of the locomotive in the mid-1800s, it was possible to build that railway between Kiruna and the Narvik at the Norwegian Sea. It was a 180-kilometer long railway, and that was built within 4 years. That was built with technology that hasn't been used in the Nordic countries, and they imported all the knowledge we needed for construction that railway, and that it was an historical work done by the people up there. I will also say that during the 50s, when there was some wise people in the group, and probably among the owner side also, that decided that we should go the pellet way into the future. Innovation, technology, that's the ground for our future, that we can source the world with climate smart products. We still we have the most CO2 effective steel raw material sourced from our company, and that's our goal. Our goal in the future is to also to look for the zero emission pellet plant. That's a vision project we have within our R&D department. During the 80s, LKAB introduced on the world market what was called the olivine pellets. The olivine pellets was sort of a result of work we had been doing with our friends at Kobe Steel in Japan for almost 20 years. When that pellet was introduced to the blast furnaces in the world, our customers, they could lower the energy consumption by almost 15%. So it gave them 15% lower use of coke. And of course, that was a huge advantage, reducing the cost situation in the blast furnaces. But for us as LKAB, sustainability is the key. We have a sustainability strategy that says that we shall build wealth by being the most innovative and resource efficient mining company in the world. That's the goal we are working toward. As you know, sustainability is divided into 3 things. The most important thing is, of course, that we have a strong economy. We shall have the footprint should be as little as possible from our facilities and our production units. But then the third thing is, of course, to create a social, sustainable society around our facilities. So what we focus a lot on is, of course, to how create attractiveness into the cities where we have our production units, both in Sweden and in Norway. And we will come back to that later on. But in the end, it's a lot about what's the most important things for people in their everyday life. And that's the important thing for us as a mining company. Of course, the geology, the ore is important, the processes, but in the end, it's all about that people feel that we as a company, together with the societies, that we feel the attractiveness of staying where we work. LKAB operates today 5 facilities in the Northern Europe. We have 2 ports. In Norway, we operate an ice-free port year-round. We have in the Baltic Sea area, we have a port in Luleå, just 1 hour drive north of Skellefteå. So we own and control the whole supply chain from the mines through the beneficiation plants, the pelletizing plants. We are the biggest operator on railroad in Sweden. So we have roughly 1,500 cars in the rolling stock. Kiruna is our biggest operation. That consists of roughly 2/3 of everything we do. Malmberget is roughly 1/3. In the middle, you have something called Svappavaara, and that's will be our 3rd mining area. Our intention is to open up 3 new open pit mines. We just got granted one of the mines, so that's its operation now. We're waiting for the 2nd one and the 3rd one, hopefully within 6 months. We are roughly 2,400 employees. We have 1,000 employees outside Sweden. We are roughly, I would say, 8 years ago, we were 5% women in the company. Today, we are almost 21% women in the company. So we, as part of the sustainability strategy, we work on equality in the group, that we shall employ the whole society. So that's of course a focus on employing women. We have almost 100% of the iron ore production in Europe. As I said, we are the leading producer of iron ore pellets globally. We are the number 3 from a production perspective. We have a turnover of between $3.5 and $4 billion. Today, when the iron ore price is decreasing and the dollar is increasing, it's hard to know exactly what we are targeting right now. We are heavily invested a lot. We almost invested $9 billion the last 10 years to build a low-cost underground operation. As you know, we, among the 10 biggest iron ore companies in the world, 9 of them, the ones in front of us, they have open pit operations. So we need to have the most efficient underground operation to be able to compete from a cost point of view. So that's the reason why we invest a lot. So and these investments has been done in the last 10 years through our own cash flows. So still we are more and less debt-free. So we have a very strong financial position. We have a newly invested production facility in operations, and we have a strong cash flow, so we can sustain a bit into the worse marketing. This is up in north of Kiruna on the way to the Norwegian border. There is a 750-meter long train from LKAB. It's an electrical locomotive. Already in 1915, we built or electrified the railway up to Narvik. The Swedish state started to build Vattenfall, what today is Vattenfall, with the hydropower plants in Porjus. So 1915 we started with electric locomotives. Today we have a strong relation with Bombardier, where they built the world's heaviest electrical locomotive. On its way from Kiruna to the Norwegian border, we have to pull it up, of course, up to roughly 550-meter elevation. But from the Norwegian border down to the sea level at Narvik, this 750-meter long train works like a power station. is a 10 megawatt power station that feeds the grid on the Norwegian side with electricity. So from Kiruna up to the peak of Riksgränsen and down to Narvik, it's zero use of electricity. So our growth is will happen just in our infrastructure, and that's probably the strongest feature in our growth project, is that all these three open pit mines are extremely close to our infrastructure. We don't need to do any capex on the infrastructure. So actually we have a railroad right through the area, we have a highway through the area, we have an electrical power line through the area, we have a small community on the right-hand side in the picture. So time to market for our products from our three open pit mines is extremely short. This is just part of the investments we've been doing in Kiruna. I won't go through it, but today we have roughly 1,000 persons working for us through our contractors in Kiruna, and they are doing this by fly in, fly out. The main investments has been done, so we are peaked in investments, but the last part of this investment package will be closed 2017. Looking in Kiruna, if talking about sustainability, we discovered that the ore body in Kiruna continued towards the depth, and we saw that it was going into and under the city. That was informed to the community and the politicians, and they took the decision that they will move the city so we can mine the ore body, because LKAB is of course very important for the city of Kiruna. So this is a view. You can see how the mine that is on the far west, on the right-hand side here, you see the city and the new buildings, and then you can see the transformation or deformations from the mine into the town in brown. So within the production of the new main haulage level, the etage we just invested in, we will probably deformate half of the city. We have agreed on an agreement with the city council, so we are actually just very close to starting up the building the new city on the east-hand side of the town. This is part of the attractiveness, working with the urban transformation. We shall. My belief is that being attractive mining company, I think you should have two very good jobs if you want to employ someone. You should have excellent, nice houses to live in, and the third thing, which is popular, I think for young families, is to have the best school possible. So that was part of the reason why we have an own real estate company. We have today roughly 2,300 apartments in our mining towns. We are the ones that built the most apartments today, and today we have taken decisions of building 400 new apartments and houses. I'm a mining engineer by profession. I'm not an architect and a city builder, but I've been traveling rather much in the world through my steering committee for the city transition. They're trying to teach me about building cities. We shall not do it, but it's important for us to understand this, especially when we are investing a lot into this. And I think one important thing is that to make nice houses, everybody can do that. It's not that what count when you come to attractiveness in a city. I met an old architect in Amsterdam. He's been there for a long time in the city, for developing Amsterdam as a town, but also been had to really to close some parts of Amsterdam and to rebuild it again. And he said to us, the most important thing for being attractive and building attractiveness in a town, it's all about the life between the buildings. So that's the reason why it's so important not just to focus on how you shall live. You shall also focus on, as a mining company, on the cultures, the sort of the outdoor activities, whatever that makes life important for our employees and the people living in the cities. So that's the reason why we sponsor a lot of culture activities. For example, we understand that in Sweden, if you look among kids in school, I think 90% of the kids don't see theater every year. And so that was one of the decisions we took, that every kid in school in the mining towns shall see theater every year. So we have an agreement with one of the regional theaters that travel around and give theater for the kids in the schools in our areas. If you look on the growth challenges, I would say that still the most important thing is that we can increase the capacity on the railway to Narvik in Norway. That's important. The second thing that is crucial for us is, of course, the time. We've been delayed now roughly 2 years with our expansion programs due to the granting of permits. And I think also the attractiveness of the urban development, that's important. We need to employ 700 more people to be able to fulfill the expansion. That's why we work extremely lot with different type of organizations around Sweden to be able to meet this. Have we succeeded in our efforts? Yeah, I would say that 6 years ago, 4,000 people looked for work in LKAB. 4,000 people made that sort of effort. Today we are roughly we have around 20,000 people every year that would like to work for LKAB. So we see that LKAB has a total different I think image today among people, and even young people in our area. If you also look on unemployment, we almost have no unemployment in our mining communities today. If you look on salaries, we pay them very well. Among the top 3 salaries in Sweden is in the mining towns. And that's a bit also about the social sustainability, if you talk in a sustainability in a bigger context. We have schools. We saw that to be able to have the right skill in people, we need to engage ourselves in the schools. So we have what's called the LKAB Gymnasium, or a high school, more or less, where they can learn a skill and work. We said that how to be able to have the best schools in Sweden. Yeah, I went to the board and said, I need $10 million out of you. I will put that into a foundation. You will never get the money back, but you will have skilled people in the workforce. So we have academy. We work with one of the Nobel Prize laureates, Mr. Sheckman, who got the prize in chemistry 2 years ago. He works as one of our sort of founding people that travel around, meet young kids and try to inspire them to educate themselves. We found, of course, research, as Lennart, I think, said here, that Luleå University of Technology is a mining university of Sweden. We have a long relation with Luleå University of Technology. We today, I think we have founded almost $50 million into research that we conduct together with them. We have 30 PhD students working in areas important for Luleå University and with LKAB. And we focus a lot on safety and attitudes in general. Okay, I would say that this event is extremely important. I know that Mr. Lennart has put a lot of effort into this. this conference from the very beginning. And I'm a deputy chairman of the Mining Association of Sweden, and we think, Lennart, you do a fantastic job. And I think that Lennart needs to applaud for that. So I hope that you will have a nice days here in Skellefteå. And don't forget to go to the LKAB stands, because we have some contracting companies that works outside Sweden also. It's part of the spin-offs from our research and innovation. So please go and meet them and talk about rock drilling with just high pressure water. And why don't about shotcreting? I think we are the world's biggest contractor in shotcreting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But it's also important that you can come to you, a leader of maybe the Sweden's most important mining company, and talk about sustainability, gender equality, and how to build a new city.
Yeah.
That's three issues that we won't have talked about for 20 years ago.
No. Right.
Thank you very much, Lars-Erik. It's always nice to hear a part of the Swedish rock.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now we come to a very important part of EuroMine Expo. Coffee break. Or as we say, fika. It's a very good idea to take a cup of coffee. I think it's served upstairs. And mingle, talk with each other, maybe about each other also, and change cards. And then mining in Europe, that sounds interesting. At 3:45, 15:45, we gather here, and then we have a session about this mining in Europe. Thank you very much, and now fika.